Alright, got Cycle 6, Losers Bracket Semifinals, right here. Solaire Club taking on Ride My Rocket. And once again, this is Cycle 6, which means we are back in the previous patch. I'm trying to get these games done on my own because of the difficulty with competizing and stuff like that, so no co-caster for this one, unfortunately, but it looks like we're actually going to move relatively quickly through this drafting phase, as it's clear this was a remade game. But Solaire Club taking out Don't Care in the Losers Bracket Round 4, RmR removing Night Raid from the equation, in fact. So, Night Raid, previously high-tier Diamond Division team, got knocked back to Gold for Cycle 6, and apparently will not be returning to Diamond for Cycle 7. So, a little bit surprising that they managed to get knocked out as early as they did, and certainly wouldn't have expected it. But both of these teams with an option to go to Diamond for next cycle, and wouldn't be surprised to see either of them show up. They're both quite solid, and obviously RmR, a bit of a newer team. I believe this is the first cycle that they've played together, but a number of names that we've seen around, notably Pingu and the Forgotten One, previously on Wapdash. I think Boz and Q-Zane were on a couple of other teams, I don't remember which ones, but it's fine. And Staff, formerly member of Shrek is Love, under the name Bunny General, Deep XD, and now he's going with Staff, so hopefully he will finally stop changing his damn name, and then we can get some sort of reliability with who we call this guy. But anyway, Solaire Club, a constant Gold Division team, and one that has improved over the last couple of cycles. And wouldn't be surprising to see them take out RmR right here, or the reverse. I think two well evenly matched teams in this game, as it well should be, as we are already in the Losers Bracket Semifinals. So the team that wins this series then has to win the Losers Bracket Finals, so that they can go ahead and make it to Diamond with an appearance in the Grand Finals of Gold Division. The other Losers Bracket Finals team will be Coolio, as they dropped a series to Dawn, and therefore are moving to Losers Bracket. And so they went through from Winners Bracket Finals to Losers Bracket Finals, and now here they go, or well, one of these two teams will be playing them, so it's good. We'll see. Looking at the draft right here, obviously didn't get to the drafting phase because it was a remade game, but Solaire Club going to go with Magnus, Dark Lady, Dr. Repulsor, Kraken, and Empath. So pretty solid lineup here. Lots of team fight. We have both strength initiators with the Magnus and Kraken, but quite a greedy lineup at the same time. Look at Dark Lady, who's going to be able to soak up a lot of farm in this game, and we are, despite that, running a Noob McNoob Jungle Doctor. So it's definitely a hero-player combination we've seen a lot of before from the Solaire Club, and Noob McNoob does play a very good Jungle Doctor. The only concern I really have is you're going to need 2 Portal Keys, at least, on this team, in both Kraken and Magnus. You're going to have a Jungle Doctor who's taking up farm all over the place, and then you're going to try to work a Dark Lady into that, who is going to need some jungle stacks, going to get a Rune Cleaver, and looking to get that 700 plus GPM. And in my estimation, there just literally is not enough gold on the map to satisfy the amount of greed that's coming out from a Solaire Club right here. I mean, it's not possible. Like, Kraken, Magnus I think is a hero that can survive with more or less 0 farm, but Kraken's going to want something besides his Portal Key. Dr. Repulsor's going to want a number of items, and then of course Dark Lady's going to be soaking up so much with that Rune Cleaver. So you look at those 4 heroes and you think, where's the money going to be to support all of their needs? And I don't see it. Like, I mean, even if literally the Hellborn team exited this game and left the entire map open for Solaire Club to farm it, it's like, even then they wouldn't all be getting the sort of GPM that they want to have to be a competitive hero. So we'll see how it works out, but it's going to have to be a lot of aggression from this Legion team, because they're going to need to farm a lot of hero kills and continuously keep the other team down. Now, if they can do that, they have a pretty insane amount of team fights and a pretty ridiculous amount of late game potential as well. So there's all sorts of possibilities. Kinesis actually nearly dying in the bottom lane, as Calatius is going to end up controlling Invisrune. Although Doctor's frozen now, and he's in a really bad place. He's going to get bloodlessed right there. So Kinesis with the health pot comes back in, and he'll pop another health pot as well as a mana potion, as they're going to perhaps try to turn this onto the Empath. Essence Link is there as well, and all of a sudden Empath could be in some trouble. Stasis Smash from Kinesis is going to go through. Yep, there it is. Prisoner going to miss the hook, but it doesn't matter. One more auto attack from Kinesis will finish off this Empath, and it's going to be 2 hero kills going the way of the guys on RmR. And that is not the start that you wanted. You look up down their lineup: Valkyrie, Prisoner, Kinesis, Tempest, and Glacius. So they definitely do not have the same problem as the Legion side. A bunch of non-farm dependent heroes, especially the Tempest and the Kinesis. They both want items, but they can be extremely useful with little to mediocre farm. Tempest, potentially with a Portal Key or with the Astrolabe and Ring of Sorcery build, can make it a lot of work. And of course, Kinesis, with his abilities and levels, can do a crap ton of damage. So wouldn't be surprising to see both of those heroes do just fine. And considering the start that they've now been afforded, it's going to be even more difficult for this Legion team. Qzane already at 280 GPM thanks to those 2 kills. He's the second highest farmer in the game, just behind Cannondorf. He'll get to relinquish that crown to Prisoner, it seems. Meanwhile, bottom, they're going to go on him once again, but Glacius is here. Essence Link is healing up Empath a lot, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, and yeah, that's going to be enough to finish them off. Cannondorf perhaps trying to get a counter kill, but Kinesis kind of out of mana. He's got a Bottle Sip, though, and they will be able to back off the Dark Lady. He now has to play relatively passive, because it's going to be difficult for her to survive the continued burst from Kinesis, and especially if Glacius is going to make his home down in this bottom lane. Stuff is going to suck. Top lane, meanwhile, Kraken, 250 GPM, so he's actually having quite a nice time. Army of Mums on this Kraken up against Imba Pingu. Now, the difficulty is he's pretty much out of regen. He's got 2 more Tangos left, and he'll be able to leech some experience here, but he's not going to get too much in the way of farm, despite the fact that Pingu is currently out of mana. The auto attacks will be sufficient to keep him backed out of this lane, and my estimation is that he's not going to get too much middle lane. It's going to be a trade. Let's go back and watch that. Magnus versus Glacius, and Prisoner stuns in on top of the Glacius, so we're going to see him get this counter kill first, and he also gets the experience for it, but eventually falls. So that's a 1-for-1, and that probably goes in favor of the Hellborn team, as Jismin's really getting absolutely nothing in this lane. No huge surprise there. Magnus against Prisoner tends to go heavily in favor of the Prisoner, especially since Glacius has made a lot of work so far, because obviously already helping set up some kills in the bottom lane and bot river, and then regen going to be knocked off there. That was a bit of a mistake from Boz, but oh well. Anyway, it's gonna be real difficult for Jismin to get much of anything in this lane. It is sometimes a dual lane, sometimes a solo lane, but either way, he's at the disadvantage. Prisoner just a hard counter to Magnus with the Shackle, basically stops all of his abilities from being effective, except for the Volcanic Touch, and so obviously between that and the dual lane factor, Jismin having a lot of difficulty in the middle lane, while Boz is actually at 350 GPM and is the top farmer of the game. So all of the stuff that the Legion team needed to have happen for this game to go their way is pretty much not happening. They really needed a good early game, and they're not getting it. Glacius still hanging out in this bottom lane goal. Kinesis throws a bunch of trees as this Dark Lady. He's actually somehow falling down in levels compared to TDL, despite the fact that he's 2-0-1. In fact, TDL 2 levels higher, but still this level 1 empath is not going to have a great time. She's actually just barely going to avoid the 2 Hellborn heroes, who look like they might be trying to find this Doctor Repulsor and shut him down a little bit. They definitely have the damage output to do so, and with Doctor only level 5, he can't quite get away. And they're just going to return to the bottom lane here, making sure they can't stack and pull. But in fact, Empath could if you really wanted to. Anyway, speaking of TDL, she's going to get frozen and stunned by the Glacius and the Tempest, so that's going to be a finish on Cannondorf, taking yet another death on this Legion side. 5-1 hero kill advantage for RmR, and you see this going very poorly very quickly, and as I said at the very beginning, they're going to need it to go a lot better than that. Actually, Prisoner, oh, I don't know where Prisoner is, but he's popping his ultimate anyway. It's going to be the Doctor Repulsor that's going to call it out once again, trying to get the counter kill on Glacius. They will do so as Stan March on the Empath picks up that kill. Essence Link draining a lot of health from this Tempest, but he's going to hook back in. Magnus does finish off that kill, but the Shackle will assist for the Empath death, and now Magnus could be in some trouble. Get the Stasis Smash on Prisoner? No. Could have used the Stasis Smash on Prisoner to stop the Seam Bath right there, but apparently not feeling like they want to go through with it. They don't have too much mana on Kinesis, and Magnus would have then had another Lava Surge back up before Shackle was available, so I doubt they get that kill, but certainly could have backed the Magnus off a little bit more and forced him to go back to base. And things continuing to progress in the favor of RmR. Perhaps one of the things that's not going all that well is this top lane, but we're going to see Kraken get jumped right there. Thunder Blast, going to block off the Kraken, release the Kraken right in Glacius' face. We'll see if this actually results in a kill. Looks like it won't. Magma's trying to do something here, and Glacius is like, alright, you want to fight? Let's fight. Pingu has bottle charges, and that means, oh, there's a nice ward of Rab. That's going to stop Magmas. He's also going to need an arrow, and Pingu should be able to finish off this kill pretty easily. Magmas looking for the Glacius to get the kill, can't find it, and just as I was saying, this top lane isn't going all that well for RmR. Pingu picks up a double tap, and he's at 380 GPM, which is now the top farmer in the game, so this is not going well for Solaire Club. And out middle lane, it's going to be Noob falling once again, as Kinesis has a nice rotation to the middle. And pretty much all of the wheels are falling off right now. Like, this is just not good in any sense of the word. And to be totally honest, I feel like a huge part of this is the fault of the draft. I mean, this is not an early game draft. It's not one that's going to do particularly well in lanes. They have several good laning heroes, but the aggression from the Hellborn team is just too much. Their rotations are so good, and if the Legion side don't have a good early game, I don't see where they're going to come out ahead. Anyway, bottom lane, it's going to be Kraken who eats the shackle, no charge, therefore he's going to get pulled back in by the Prisoner ultimate arrow in the face. Will finish him off. So yet again a kill for RmR, and as you can see, the Hellborn are owning 11-3 hero kill advantage, 5k gold, 4.5k experience. And this is just all sorts of bad. Cannondorf, the top farmer on the Legion's team, just under or around 300 GPM, the only player that is over the 200 gold per minute mark. And you compare that to the Hellborn team, all of them over 200 GPM, 2 of them over 350. So where do you pull this back if you're the Legion team? I don't know. I guess you group up and try to push. Taking team fights is perhaps the only thing that you can reasonably do at this point, but you look at the Hellborn team, and they got a crap ton of team fight ultimates and team fight capability. Arrow's not going to connect. Release the Kraken, will be able to catch Tempest, so this should be at least one counter kill. We'll see if they can get any follow-up. Glacius with his Thunder Blast on a lock. Glacial Downpour is there as well. Tundra going to stop it, but it's not going to matter. He's dead. Noob looking for the counter. That won't be going through as they inventively kill him. Magmas gets pulled back in. Lava Surge is onto Valkyrie, trying to get this counter kill. Dark Lady will pick it up, but Magmas is definitely going to fall for it. Will Glacius get out of here? My suspicion is no, and no, he won't. Stasis Smash, though, onto Kindorf. No charging strikes, and the last auto attack with the Mass Control finishes him off. So Boz picks a double tap right there. So does Cannondorf, but in the end, it's a 4-for-2 as the Legion's 4-for-3 as the Hellborn side comes out ahead. So not the worst trade in the world for the guys on Solaire Club, but not really something that you want to be doing, trading, 4-for-3, especially when you're already down, and that's just going to continue the problems. Meanwhile, Empath is going to get a nice wall out. That's going to stop the Prisoner ulti from going through. So well played there to Stand March, and Portal Key Prisoner at 10 minutes. So yeah, that's a thing. Now, to be fair, Tempest, for example, his farm not going all that well. 270 GPM at 10.5 minutes isn't really particularly good, especially considering they have a top tier 1 tower kill and he's 2, 2, and 3. So he's got some positive gold from that hero kill engagement, and yet still can't quite find particularly great farm. Kinesis, though, and that suicide roll doing very well, 245, and then of course the Glacius just absolutely crushing this, the Forgotten One, having a lot of impact this game as he usually does. Kinesis easily finds Stand March. Lava Surge misses actually as the Invis pops, and Glacius is here as well, looking for a freeze on the Magmas. Meanwhile, Army of Mums in the top lane falls once again. Noob is here. They're going to shut down Forgotten One, and that'll be a counter kill. So it's a 1-for-1 supports, as well as a top tower kill or top kill on Army of Bums and the Kraken. So across the board, still things going in favor of the Hellborn team, but at the very least, the Legion side do get a kill, and they will be looking to push a tier 2 up here. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Invis Kinesis, and Prisoner is going to hit a hook onto 2. Shackle goes through onto the Magmas. Stasis smashes there on 2, and Qzane with a double tap thanks to the Mass Control. That little bit of AoE damage was fantastic because they managed to stand close enough together. They both got hit. And both Noob and Jisman fall. Top tier 2 tower dies. Cannondorf actually is not back here, so they will work their way through the trees, but they're not going to find this Dark Lady. And that's very important because they need to at least get something on Cannondorf. Like, he's going to finish his sustainer right here, and he's not progressing toward an especially fast PK. Meanwhile, Shackle goes through on Empath. Hook will connect, and Stand March falls. Obviously still level 5. Cannot jump inside of that Dark Lady, as they were trying to counter ward right here. And Dark Lady will come back over here and finish off that Ward of Sight that was recently placed. So nice D-ward there from Stand March, but Is it enough? I don't know. It's 20-7 in favor of Hellborn, so I don't think so. And they will catch Kinesis out right here. Eruption on top of the Taint Soul, and Kinesis is going to fall. But we'll see if Glacius can get anything out of this. But anyway, come back in from Prisoner. His ultimate is going to hit somebody. Yes, it will. It will connect onto Magmus. That's a 1-for-1. Cannondorf now getting chased down a little bit. Hook is going to hit 2 heroes. Glacial Blast, or Glacial Downpour, is going to be stopped pretty quickly, and they lose the Forgotten One right there. Noob eating the bottle charges, trying to get enough mana back for his ludicrous speed, but he's going to TP away, and he should be fine. Meanwhile, Kinesis comes back in with a buyback, actually. TP away from Dark Lady, and he's going to survive as well. Nice juke from Cannondorf. Army of Mums, meanwhile, did get picked off in the forest as Pingu came in looking for the kill. And it ends up being still 2 dead on the Legion side. And they may turn this into a bot Tier 1 tower push. By the way, Pingu went for the Thunderclaw, nearing 500 GPM, so that's not bad. So is Boz on that Prisoner. Already has the Portal Key, of course, and the Steam Boots and Bottle. We'll see what he goes for next. I wouldn't be surprised to see an Insanitarius or an Elder Parasite. There are plenty of options for him at this juncture. And they'll be taking a Tier 1 in this bottom lane. Mid Tier 1 and top Tier 1 and Tier 2 have all fallen, of course. And RmR decidedly in control of this game. Pingu continuing to push down here. Obviously, the elementals no longer attack towers when Tempest isn't nearby, so they're going to pop the Valkyrie Prism. They should know that's active, though, because Pingu ran past a hero, and in fact, they're not going to go for Glacius, they're going to go for Cannondorf and Magmus. Tempest Hole going to lock down both of them. There goes the Magmus. Kinesis continuing to pound in damage onto this Dark Lady. Arrow is being faked, just right in the face of Cannondorf, and that will be 2 kills. So, nice use of the Valkyrie Prism right there. Glacius trying to chase down this Empath. It is a Hellborn Water Sight. Thunderblast goes through, and we'll see if they can get anything else out of this. Yep, the freeze is there, and Empath is definitely going to fall as the entire Hellborn team collapses on top of her, so more or less nothing the Sand Marsh could have done about that, but yet another kill for RmR. 25 hero kills in 14 minutes. So the exact thing that RmR are doing is what I think Legion needed to have happen for their lineup to work out. They just needed so much gold and so much experience on these heroes that if they didn't get this sort of start, they weren't going to do particularly well, and now that it's getting turned around on them, I just don't see a way out, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised to see a CC vote at 15 minutes because they're 16k down, 16.5k down at 15 minutes. And when you're more than 1,000 gold per minute down, you don't come back, like ever. It doesn't happen. I mean, they're not going to find Doctor right here. He's going to use Ludicrous Speed to get away. We'll see if he gets hit by the hook. He does not. Prisoner going for that, and he doesn't find it. So, Noob with a nice escape right there. And they're trying to find Tempest right here. He does try to juke into the woods. And we'll see if they can actually do anything about this. Glacial Downpour onto a couple of heroes. At least Kraken does connect on both him and Tempest. They lose Jismin because of the too much damage. Kraken now in a bad position. Cover of Darkness goes through, but they're still going to lose the Kraken. Tempest will fall. Eventually, Mass Control is in. And we'll see if they can finish off Noob. Yes, they can. That's a 3-for-1 so far, losing only the Tempest, who had no hull. So that's perfectly fine as far as the Hellborn are concerned. Now Empath getting chased down. Looks like there might be a 4th kill to complement the 3 that have already died. Stasis Smash goes through. It's going to be 1 CC tool, and the Essence Link is not going to be sufficient to save Empath right here as the last auto attack goes to the Forgotten One on that Glacius, who's 5, 5, and 15 with 325 GPM. So we've talked about this player before, but one of the best and least known supports on the scene is the Forgotten One. He is a fantastic support player, and you can see that this game. I mean, to be honest, a huge reason why the Hellborn team have been so successful so early on, and is because of his early game rotations. Anyway, sorry, I had to respond to something. A huge part of the reason they've been doing so well is because Glacius has been... Sorry. he just made so much space. I mean, he basically won bottom lane for Kinesis. He was middle lane for a while, helped Prisoner a lot in that lane against the Magnus. He didn't really need it, but obviously the assistance made a pretty big difference. Jismin only at 137 GPM. You compare that to 440 for Boz. And even rotated top when Pingu was doing okay, and wasn't doing all that great, especially against an army of Bombs Kraken who was having quite a good game. And then picks up a double tap with losing both the Kraken and the Magnus, didn't die, and all of a sudden Pingu's at 525 GPM. So I give a lot of credit to this Glacius support, making action happen everywhere. Speaking of action, Magma's gonna get exploded by Qzane right there, and Jismin. The power of an invisible Kinesis and that mass control is pretty substantial. Portal Key and Arrow, neither of which will connect, so they won't be able to find Cannondorf or Army of Bombs, at least for the time being. And Cannondorf going to have to activate those Ghost Marchers and the Charging Strikes away, so he will survive, but it's going to be just about it. Bottom lane, meanwhile, they're trying to chase down this Doctor, and he's got the ludicrous speed away, but not too much in terms of the mana. He will start to sip that bottle. Tempest has no Portal Key, so it's going to be difficult for them to catch him. But they have the cutoff here with Prisoner, who's going to run into Empath, hits the hook, and the ultimate onto Doctor. That's going to be a kill. The Shackle stopping him from ulting, of course. By the way, it's pretty ridiculous how well Prisoner counters this Legion lineup. And anyway, Empath gonna fall once again. That's a 2-for-0 exchange. I mean, you look at this, Magnus gets destroyed by Prisoner, Doctor gets destroyed by Prisoner, Kraken doesn't get destroyed, but he certainly doesn't appreciate the Shackle stopping his charge, and obviously the same thing goes through with TDL and her Charging Strikes. So, I mean, against 4 of the 5 heroes in this Legion team, the Prisoner Shackle is a pretty serious impediment. So, I don't know when they drafted that Prisoner, but whenever it was, it's a pretty fantastic pickup. And props to them for finding it. Another Portal Key going to be on the way for Kinesis. By the way, Glacius has got a PK too, because again, 330 GPM. And it looks like this is going to be the base push here, as the Hellborn really have no reason to not do it. They're massively ahead, and they well know it. It's 32-10 hero kills. Noob Stand March gets destroyed. They put the cover of darkness on a number of heroes. Tempest looking for the ultimate, but he can't find it because the Kraken Hole and the Eruption is there as well, and the Hellborn team is taking a lot of damage, but they're not really dying so much. Kinesis will not fall! What a hook from Prisoner! Saves Kinesis, they tank the tower, and Qzane will get out of there. Oh god, sorry, Boss dies. That's hilarious. Oh man. Well done, tower. So yeah, it's going to be a tier 3 tower kill right here, although they're pretty damn low on the Hellborn side, so Valkyrie needs to tank that if they want to kill it. Looks like she's not willing. So they may survive, at least for the time being. One advantage the Legion side do have is without levels, they have low respawn timers, so they're going to be back up in a second. And nope, going to be jumped from Kinesis into the arrow from Valkyrie, and there goes Stand March. You dead, buddy. Well, Doctor trying to pick off somebody. Glacius definitely going to be in some trouble, will be falling right here, and Kinesis could possibly also die, but Noob McNoob couldn't finish him off. The inherent defense also very helpful. It's going to be Valkyrie versus a couple. Gets the leap away, but obviously Doctor doesn't care about that because he can jump. No Portal Key yet on Magnus, and nor is he particularly close to one, so he can't really find the angle. Uh-oh, Kinesis, nice PK, and he's going to survive, so... Attempt there, and meanwhile Valkyrie actually is like, yeah, you want to go kill? You want to go, Doctor? Let's go. Call of Valkyrie misses, which means Noob is going to survive at least in the meantime. We'll see if his team can get back in there, and it looks like Pingu will be forced to back off as the rest of the support is coming in from the Legion side. But Tempest is now available, and he can start helping push this in. He still has a Tempest Soul, of course. Never got it off in the last team fight as he died inside the Kraken ult, and didn't really want to waste his ultimate when he was about to be superior magic stunned. I can certainly understand that, but... I don't think it matters. I mean, sure, the Legion side took a decent fight there. They got a couple of pickoffs, but really in the end, it's not that big a deal. They lost most of the damage in the tier 3 tower in the bottom lane. Kongor looks like it might be the attempt for the Hellborn team, and they do have a pretty solid Kongor killing team, notably with that Valkyrie arrow. Gonna bring in a 5-second stun. And with the Token of Life, I just don't see any situation in which the Legion team can successfully defend their base without some pretty serious misplays from Hellborn. They will have their ultimates back up and available, so judicious and effective use of them in the last team fight. We'll see if they can do it again. They do have level 2 now on Kraken. They're pretty close to it on Magnus as well, so that could make a difference, especially if they can manage to get enough damage out before they all die. And it's Kongor going through here, and it's not going through very fast, but it's not like the Legion team can do anything about this, so Pingu not necessary, and he will just farm up elsewhere, but he actually might get caught here. Magnus goes in with a stun, and the Eruption, release Kraken right into Pingu, but it's not enough. He gets the leap on out, Eruption does nothing, and that'll be a successful escape with 2 ultimates used in the Legion team, and that means we're going to have a token on Valkyrie, and we're going to have no Eruption and no Kraken ultimate for the impending base push from the Hellborn team. And that combination of factors, plus being down 25,000 gold and 22,000 experience, and 25 hero kills at 22 minutes, I would say there is a very low chance that the Legion side are going to come back and take this victory. At the very least, Cannondorf trying to find some farm elsewhere and let his team get something in their own woods, and they sort of need to do that. In fact, they actually took out a top tier 1 tower, so that's the first tower kill in favor of the Legion side. But in the meantime, it will be yet another base push for the Hellborn team. They heal up, group up, and we'll be taking out at least a tier 3 in this bottom. My expectation is that they're going to take Rax and very possibly the game. As I don't, again, I keep saying it, but it's relevant. I mean, what can the Legion side do? You got Portal Key City on the Hellborn team. 4 heroes have a PK plus the leap from Valkyrie. We have a token as well. No Fireblade, Firebrand, Thunderclaw from the Valk. Arrow's not going to connect, but it doesn't really need to. Kinesis has his, or sorry, Tempest has his ultimate with the PK, so if he can find an opening, that's the game. The Legion essentially have to play this perfectly, and the Hellborn have to screw up a couple of times for it to be a realistic base defense. So if that doesn't happen, you know, that's game. And Kinesis gonna need to jump here on Doctor. They will pull him back with the Prisoner. Shackle's there as well as Snooping Dude just gets melted. Glacius with the ultimate onto a lot. Release the Kraken onto his face. Tempest looking for an opening right here. And they do manage to blow up the Glacius. Where's the Tempest? Oh, there it is. On to 3 heroes. Not gonna be stopped. 1, 2, and 3 deaths. Magnus in the background trying to come back and do something as Noob has the dieback. In fact, they finish off Stand March over here on that empath. No way he was getting out of anything. Magnus had actually survive here as he managed to get the stun into a couple of heroes, but it's going to be bot racks, no question, and my guess is Solaire Club aren't going to be interested in sticking around in this one, so yeah, it seems to be the case.
The Legion barracks are liquidated.
So, CC vote being called here, not going through quite yet. I don't know, maybe Magnus wants to keep playing, but yeah. He actually dies right before the CC goes through, so it does get officially counted, and it will be RmR taking a sub 25-minute victory, and I think that's one that we can chalk up more or less entirely toward a really, really, really greedy draft, and then a really, really, really painful laning phase for the Legion team. And if you're going to do super greed, you're going to have to do better than losing like 10 or 15 hero kills in the first 10 minutes of the game. It's just not going to work out for you. So, oh well, that'll be game 1. Moving on to game 2 in just a moment.